Hello, everybody. My name is Ming Chen, and I have an extremely talented and amazing group here. We are here with Matt Gustavsen, Ben Alexander, Denise Warren, Anthony Marinelli, and the cast of Dancing Mad, who you'll see here in a second. I'll have them introduce them, but I'll introduce them now. We have Ryan Irving, Pratigya, Paudel, and Ankit Sharma. And Dancing Mad, my friends. Dancing Mad is an original tragic comedy centering on three close friends, Seth, Tiff, and Teddy, who share a house in Monmouth County, New Jersey during the aftermath of COVID. Over the course of 10 days, they will alternately drink, bicker, laugh, and love as they pick up the pieces of their shattered lives and dance their way through pain on the bumpy road to healing. It's being presented by the Center Playhouse in Freehold, New Jersey, and is the last production that will be presented in their current location at 35 South Street. It opens on February 2nd and runs for 3 weekends until February 18th. Tickets are on sale now. First of all, where are the tickets? Where are they on sale?
You can get them online at centerplayers.org.
Centerplayers.org. Fantastic. I would love it if you guys could introduce yourselves. Does anybody want to go first, or we'll go down the line here.
All right.
Please introduce yourself.
My name's Ben Alexander. I'm the producer of the play.
I'm Matthew Edward Gustavsen. Go by Matt. I'm the writer.
Anthony Marinelli, director.
Denise Warren, stage manager.
Amazing. Matt, I'm going to start with you. Dancing Mad deals with a subject that's still very much at the forefront of our lives, COVID. In fact, I think there's a new variant going around now. I think some people are requiring masks back again. We're not really over it yet, so it's definitely very much at the forefront. This Dancing Mad takes place June of 2022, so a little more than 2 years after COVID began in 2020. A little more than 2 years after the pandemic began. What inspired you to write this story? And it's just something which so many people can relate on in so many different levels.
So a couple things. First, just the joy of lockdown that we all experienced. I think watching loved ones deal with personal crises during COVID, during the lockdown times, and not having the usual outlets, not being able to process the trauma of the whole thing in the ways that we were used to. And I think a lot of people after COVID sort of so 2022, right? That's when the play is. A lot of people emerged from that with a backlog of trauma. And our main character, our protagonist, is in that situation. He's facing a backlog of personal trauma. And so he finally decides to confide in his two trusted friends, his roommates, about what exactly he went through during that time. And another thing that sort of inspired it, I would say, is seeing like the emptiness of formerly the spaces that humans occupied before. So like empty roads, quiet city streets, and watching other animals re-enter those spaces and thrive while we were all locked down. And sort of like, I don't know, just thinking about the duality of that. Like we were all locked down. The animals are actually like kind of having a good time.
Yeah. Nature was thriving.
It was true free reign for them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I don't know, just thinking about the duality of that. And I also had this vision in my head a long time. So like a lot of things I write will go back to a specific scene that I at some point visualize. And so I had this vision of two characters dancing around a Christmas tree to a specific song that was stuck in my head for like years.
Yeah.
This was like several years before COVID. I had this vision of two characters dancing to the Ravenettes cover of Christmas Baby, Please Come Home.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do with that scene until COVID, until all that happened. I was like, oh, that guy just got over lockdown, got over the
pandemic, the being isolated.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how it all came together.
That's amazing. Do you remember when you started writing this? When you actually put pen to paper, or type or words to screen?
So it was late 2020, early 2021 is when I started the first draft. Really.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's midst of the pandemic. I think maybe about 8 months had passed.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to come out of it, but there's a lot of uncertainty there for sure. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. And this is for both of you, Matt and Ben. Can you provide a little bit of the history regarding the production? For instance, I understand you guys did a stage reading of this play back in 2022.
Yes. Yeah, in Asbury Park at the Asbury Book Cooperative, the bookstore on Cookman Ave in Asbury. And Ben actually directed that reading. I had reached out to Ben because I'd seen a play that he directed in Atlantic Islands that was, I don't know, I just thought it was great. I don't know if you want to talk a little about that play.
It's funny because when I directed this play, this young man here who I didn't really know, I knew him, seeing him around the theater, acting and stuff, but I really hadn't talked to him, came up to me and said to me, listen, I have this play I wrote. I'd like you to read it and tell me what you think. And I read it and I was immediately blown away. I thought it was an amazing piece of work. And I felt like it needed to get out there. And, him and I talked about it and, we said, well, let's just do a staged reading first and see how this goes. It was also important for him to hear the lines come out of people's mouths. Yeah. And we did that. And after that, I think he went back and rewrote some of the things that he felt like needed a little tightening up. But honestly, after that, I was just like, now it needs to find life on a stage. And at that point, I was like, well, I had already taken a bite of the apple by doing a stage reading. So I wanted somebody else to have a fresh perspective on it. And one of the directors I really admired, seeing his work, is Anthony Marinelli. And I said, let me get it to him and see what he thinks about the play. And he read it. And I mean, he could tell you from there where it went.
Yeah, I read the play and I loved it immediately. It's the kind of story that I gravitate towards, like right off the bat. I love intimate stories about, people sharing a connection in some form or another, and they're sharing a connection of friendship, and they're also sharing a connection through COVID. You know, and each one is dealing with it in their own ways, and they're all helping each other through it. And I love that, just dealing with the relationships and what brings them together, and what things that pull them apart, bring them together and help them heal. So I love that immediately about it.
That's amazing. And do you guys do a lot of stage readings? Is this something common after you write a production? It's like, hey, let's do a reading and see. Let's see, as you mentioned, let's see how this sounds with the words actually coming out of actors' mouths.
Yeah, it's part of the development process traditionally. I had submitted this play to a bunch of theaters like all over the country, but I didn't hear back from most of them. That's just kind of how it goes. Yeah. And I was frustrated, so I thought, you know what, I just want to jumpstart this thing, start this development process on my own, and Ben read it and gave me phenomenal notes, and actually it was taking those notes and revising it that when for me it really started to come together, and then I knew, okay, this thing is ready to go.
Yeah, usually won't reject you as yourself. So if you go out there and make it, that's the best way. That's the best way to do it. It's like, you know what? I don't need anyone to give me permission. Let's just do it. Let's just do it ourselves. Exactly. And you sound very passionate about it. I was like, let's just get this out there. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you do Q&A afterwards? After the reading, and what did you take back from it? Did you get a lot of feedback? Did you change anything after the reading?
Yeah, we did do a Q&A. I got some great feedback from a couple people, friends of mine who were in the audience. I don't know if you remember Leslie. Leslie there's this joke in the final scene about clam shits.
Okay.
And Leslie had a very specific note about how to tweak that line and make it funnier, and so
I mean that
mostly little stuff like
those two little words are funny in themselves, but I'm sure, and especially we're in Maui County, we're in a kind of big clamming community. I think
sure.
we've all I can guess what that is.
We've all had some bad clams, I feel like.
Everyone can relate to COVID and bad clams.
It's two C's. You mentioned how you kind of got involved, Anthony, but can you go a little more in depth on that?
So being attracted to the play was the first thing, and then letting them know that, okay, I really want to do this,
Okay.
and then finding the right place to do it, because we were talking about different theaters, different venues where we could put this up. And Center Players has been sort of my second home for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Denise and I, we've been working together for a long time. She's working together on different plays throughout the years. And I felt like because the size of the theater, it's such an intimate theater, that I thought it would be the perfect size and the perfect venue for this type of
what is the size? Do you know anything about the capacity? Like
There's
ballpark?
49 seats.
49,
so
okay.
It's small.
Yeah.
And the stage is, it is sometimes it's sometimes a bit of a challenge because of the size of the stage. But in this case, it works to our advantage because it's an intimate story and it's a living room. It's one set.
Yeah.
So it's less of a challenge in that respect. The only part of it that's a challenge is we have to have, we can't have the sofa and the futon, which was originally written into the script. So, we have to adjust certain.
Small adjustments.
Yeah, small adjustments like that. But as far as the right venue, it's a perfect spot for it, and
it's punk rock.
It's punk rock. It's punk rock. So so. That's it. We're excited to do it there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how much revising did you do? Do you know how many drafts you went through?
A lot. So I got the notes from Ben when he first read it. I got notes from a couple friends of mine, like the first couple people that read it, close friends of mine, had some good notes, changed a little bit here and there. I changed the ending after Ben gave me his feedback, which was probably the most major change.
Okay.
But then ultimately when I met Anthony and he read it, he had some notes as well. And Anthony's also a writer. And I thought he just had great insights about character things.
Yeah.
And, is mostly just like little things, but like they add up to a lot.
Yeah.
And so by the end of that process, again, like it just felt more solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's collaborative. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like,
it's a production, right?
It's a production. We all work together, as a team. So, including the actors, it's all very. Everything is very open, very collaborative. Matt is always wonderful with feedback, and if there's a line that maybe we might want to add for to compliment a certain behavior, he's open to it. So it's a very
you're very
easy
open-minded.
process.
It's like, hey, this might work better. It's like, oh, all right, I'll give that some thought. So
I usually get like defensive at first. I'm
Sure.
like, hey, wait a sec.
sure, because it's your
That
creation.
the needs to be there.
Yeah, and it's like I put a lot of thought into this. Like, wait,
Yeah.
but it's not bad being open-minded.
There are one
If you're
two
honest
lines,
with
it's true.
yourself, then
No, there were one or two lines you were kind of like you were backing away from,
like,
but then then you did.
yeah, and I found a way. Yeah, usually I do.
Anthony, was there one scene or one theme or what that really attracted you to this when you read it,
One scene or one theme,
or anything overall?
Well, here's the thing: the play takes place in June, but the main character Seth is celebrating Christmas.
Okay.
So the image and that's why I love the poster, because to me it captures the heart of what I think is the essence of his character.
Yeah.
And he's celebrating Christmas in the middle of June, and he's paying tribute to a lost love he's honoring her with this vigil that he does every day. He's drinking eggnog and he's admiring the Christmas tree. So that was the image that sort of set in motion like what I loved about it.
Right.
The sort of like dichotomy of it. It was just such a strange thing, but made sense at the same time.
That's fantastic. Can each of you just talk briefly about your background in theater? I'm going to start with you, Denise, since what's your background in theater? How long have you been doing it? Why do you love it?
I've loved it since high school.
Okay.
And it's almost always been backstage. I like making sure all the props are there, that when an actor reaches for something, they don't have to worry about whether it's going to be there or not. And having everything lined up just right. I thrive on lists and organization.
Okay,
It's
you're
just something that makes me
you're
very
the
happy.
one doing all the heavy lifting. Then that's the organization in something like this.
I don't know that
is
I'd
key.
call it heavy, but I call it in my own mind choreography.
Choreography, okay, for sure. And what's your history and background?
So in theater, I've been doing theater since 2009 pretty steadily. I started with a production of Fool for Love in the city in Manhattan, and then Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune. And then after that, joined up with Center Players in 2014. Just started doing a play. Started every other year and then became every year the last few years. I'm actually a commercial editor. That's what I do for a living.
Oh, fantastic.
I've been working in advertising for 30 years. But somewhere along the line, I decided that at least once a year, I wanted to do something for myself.
Okay.
It was either going to be a film or a play or something that was mine and something that was non-advertising related. And that's how I started getting into it in the first place.
Amazing. What's your background in theater?
I just write crazy plays.
Okay.
No, I've acted a bit. I act like on and off. I think of acting as like a break from writing.
Yeah.
Usually when I act in something I can't write, I just have a hard time.
Yeah, it's it's two different mindsets for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, two different worlds, really.
Yeah. I've had one act staged. I had a one act stage in New York several years ago. I had a one act that was part of a one act festival in Rahway in 2019, so right before COVID. But this is my first full length play that's been produced. So,
okay.
Yeah, the first one that made it to the stage.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
again, congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
I imagine. And Ben, what's your background in theater?
My background, basically, I was a theater kid. I started in high school doing theater, mostly acting. As I've gotten a little bit older, I've realized that I'm not so much into the acting anymore because I just can't memorize lines.
Right.
So I got into directing. And then, honestly, I want to bring new stuff to the theater because, it's great. Theater's had a long history and beautiful plays.
Yeah.
But, especially the community theater tends to do a lot of the same plays that everybody's seen everywhere.
Sure.
So I like to see something original. I like to see something new. So when I can get my hands on material that's brand new and something like this, I said, well, now I need to move into the producing role. So that's basically what I'm doing here. This is my first full-length play that I'm producing. And I'm hoping that, in the future I'll be doing more.
That's amazing. It sounds like you knocked it out of the park. So, the only thing left is to show it to an audience and get it out to the world. What are the plans for the future of this play?
So we see this as the first stop.
Yeah. This is sort of the out-of-town tryout, I think. And I think what we'd like to do is see it go, a lot further, off Broadway. I think it can go that far.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I guess that's the ultimate goal. So let's by saying it, we're going to manifest it for sure.
Definitely
manifest the hell out of it.
Yeah, for sure. But you're going to want to see it in Freehold on February 2nd.
Absolutely.
Just to be, I was there when at the beginning.
You want to get in on the ground level, see it in its first iteration, and then it's really. I have to say a word about the actors because they are dynamite. These three are. Having such a small, intimate play, everyone has to work well together. And from day one, their chemistry has been off the charts.
Yeah.
And everyone is, again, collaborative and open and willing to try things. And it's been such an amazing process already. I mean, we've been rehearsing for a few weeks now, and they're just phenomenal.
That's fantastic. What was the audition process like? Was it long and arduous, or did you find your cast fairly quickly?
It was a couple of weeks of auditioning, and we had a lot of solid actors coming in. But the bottom line again is chemistry. Yeah. It's like people would be great on their own, but when you paired them with certain people, it didn't work as well. So these three. Once I saw them together, the sparks started to fly. That's what I always look for. Yeah. And I feel it. And that's, that's what was happening. So I was like, well, this, it casts itself at that point. They're the ones. That's it.
And another thing to say is when we did the stage reading, we did it with a different cast. The only person who's the original, from the get-go has been the character of Seth, which is played by Ryan Irving.
Character, yeah.
Fantastic. So again, starting February 2nd, Center Players, 35 South Street, Freehold, New Jersey, running for, is it 3 weekends?
3 weekends.
Okay.
Until February 18th. It's 8 o'clock Fridays and Saturdays and 2 o'clock matinees on Sundays.
Amazing. And where online can you get tickets?
Centerplayers.org.
Centerplayers.org, everybody. So definitely check it out for sure. Thank you guys. We're going to talk to your actors as well. So for sure.
Who needs to talk to them?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ming.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We're back here with the actors of Dancing Mad, and welcome back, Anthony Marinelli, the director. Can you guys please introduce yourself? I'll start over here.
I'm Ryan Irving, and I play Seth.
Hello. I am Pratigya Paudel, and I play Tiff.
And I'm Ankit Sharma. I'm going to be playing Teddy.
Amazing. And then we got Anthony Marinelli, the director. First of all, my first statement, great looking cast here, my friend.
They are.
Yeah.
They're
I know they're very talented. I know they have
They
great
look good, too.
chemistry,
Yeah.
but hey, it's a visual medium as well. So
Yeah, tell us more about the good-looking part.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
I could go on and on. But my first question for you guys, Ryan, Pratigya, and Ankit, have you guys worked together before?
Me and Ryan, we were students together at Playhouse West, Philadelphia. I think for about a year we knew each other. Is that right?
Yeah, we've taken classes together. We've done a scene in class, but then she just wrote a film in October that we just wrapped up on.
Whoa,
I told him what to do.
multi-talented.
I am. Thank you very much.
She directed it as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Ankit, is this your first time working with these guys?
First time working with, either one of them, yes. And
But
it's
you guys
been-
knew each other before.
I have seen you in something.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was, but it was, I think Ben was in it too, the show that I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And my wife was in it. That's why I was there, really, because I had to see a show for my wife.
Oh, right, of
and
course.
Ryan was in it, so, you
Yeah.
know. But I met Ryan then and we just hung out. And,
we've known each other in the community theater circle. I saw him perform at home at the Zoo Story,
Yeah.
Edward Albee, and
Oh,
by far still my favorite live performance I've ever seen.
I'm gonna sink into this.
Yeah.
It was so
I
intense.
appreciate you.
6 people in the audience, and this guy's bleeding his heart out. He's bleeding his heart out. After the performance, he's still in it. And I just had I've known him. I knew he was a good actor.
Yeah.
But that performance really showed me something and inspired me. Be like, it doesn't matter how many people are in the audience, but give it your all every time.
Yeah, that's cool. And I guess you're like, hey, one day I'm going to work with that guy.
Yeah.
And, and here we are in Dancing Mad. So
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I was really mad though after that performance because of the audience. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but it's great. I appreciate that because someone is watching.
Yeah,
all
I love
the time, and like there's this actor who I wouldn't even think that he was thinking that watching that performance, but it's great.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
told me
So-
about it too.
Oh, did he really? And then again, I was just like.
Yeah, we're
Didn't
like,
matter,
hey,
I
what's
felt
up?
like I knew her, so it was just easy.
I have that way of
you know?
bringing people together. Bringing them
Yeah, it's
together.
Anthony. Really, he just makes it, safe and comfortable. So you're safe and
so
comfortable.
it's a mark of a good director, a great director for sure.
And I met Ryan when we did Butterflies Are Free at Center Playhouse back in 2019. And so we worked together on that and then worked together on Crimes of the Heart. He played Doc in Crimes of the Heart.
Amazing. So you guys have you have history for sure. It's like that guy's really good. I think he'd be perfect for this.
Who do I want for this?
Yeah, you should audition. It's like, okay, why? Just never mind. Just come and audition.
And he did. He auditioned hard too. He really did. Yeah, he was great on the audition.
That's fantastic. For each of you, what attracted you guys to this play? I'll start with you.
So unfortunately, something like COVID is so divisive. For it to be an apolitical story,
Right.
where no matter what walk of life you're from, it's a story about people. And it doesn't matter what your viewpoints are. It's about going on this journey with these 3 people and coming out knowing that we need people. And so the community aspect of it, leaning on each other, supporting each other in times of hardship, that's really what drew me through it. And some very fun scenes that I get to act with some great actors. But yeah, the scenes and just that way of bringing people together.
Amazing. And what attracted you to this play?
Well, firstly, it was the writing, because that's the first thing that I saw.
Yeah.
Me and him, we were rehearsing for the short that he just mentioned that we did a little while ago. And in the middle of it, I said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? He's like, oh, there's an audition. And he showed me one of the scenes and we just read it together.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think a mark of a good writing is like when it kind of makes you a better actor because it's it just flows and it's so easy and you just already, it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to work for it.
Right.
So I just read the scene with him and it just felt so good. And I said, yeah, I guess I'm going to go with you tomorrow to this. So that was the first thing, was just the writing.
That's amazing. And what drew you to this play?
So there were a few things. The first thing was Anthony, actually. So I was just going through my emails, and I've done shows at Center Playhouse before, and then they sent an email out for the audition, and it said Center Playhouse, and I love that theater because I've done shows there, and they care. So they're like one of the best places around, right? And then I saw his name. Directed by Anthony Marinelli, and I've never even seen, I think I've only seen one show you've directed. I've never even seen his work, but like everyone that I respect as an actor was always like, work with Anthony if you can. Yeah. Work with Anthony if you can. So I was like, I got time. I'm going to work with Anthony if I can. And then I scrolled down and it says Dancing Mad by Matt. And I was like, what Matt? Not the Matt. Matt's also done a show with my wife. So I'm like, not the Matt that I know. And then
the
it was like,
Matthew Gustavsen,
it's the Matt. So I was like, well, and now I have to, you know? And so, and then Ben was in a show with my wife. I don't know why. My wife is like the connective tissue. Ben was in a show with her during that time, right? And he just sent me a script. So I read it. And within like the first 10 pages, 5 minutes of reading it, I was like, this is it. Yeah. And if I can see something that's not on the page, if I can see it in my head, I know I'll bring it out. And so that's all I needed to see. And then
so you're able to pre-visualize it and bring that.
I mean, you have to. You know, you got to have a big imagination to have a big performance. I guess I don't know. You know, so yeah.
That's amazing. How's the rehearsal process been so far? You're almost to the big day on February 2nd. But how have rehearsals been so far? I'll start with you.
It's just reinforced why I love acting. Just being able to play. It's just a sandbox with people, and we're trying to get down to what is truly happening. And there's no wrong answers. It's just, did it feel good? Did it work? Yeah. And there's no egos, no drama, no nothing. Just the work, and I love it. It's been a dream. It's been a dream.
I mean, I couldn't. I don't think there's a better testimonial to that. But I know. How's the rehearsal been for you?
Terrible.
Somebody had to say.
There's always one.
Is it me?
Speak your truth.
Tell us how you feel.
No, it's good. It's been really great. Like Ryan said, the community's great. Yeah. It's fun. It's just fun to work with these people and be around these people, and it doesn't suck you dry. Yeah. And it doesn't, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you're in those environments and it sucks. But the play is great. Everything, the people you work with is great. And I've loved just being just told kind of what to do, just being directed. Because I feel like the last little while I've just kind of been acting, but also, having to do multiple things. So, and I have I think a issue with control and taking my hands off things. Right. But Anthony is so great and just so skilled that it feels very comforting, and it's just like nice, kind of like being on a roller coaster. Yeah. It's just like nice to surrender and just be like, all right, you tell me what to do, and I'll
where's this ride going? I don't know. I'm here for the ride. So I'm gonna put my hands up. I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, I'll be in it. I'll just do it, and hopefully it feels good. And I won't worry about how it is, because there's somebody that I trust and there are people I trust that will let me know. So amazing. It feels nice.
I always say, I'll never let you be bad.
Okay.
Don't worry.
It's a good testimonial for sure. Ankit, how's the rehearsals been?
It's been so much fun, and I love rehearsals because that's like the real work. We're just trying things and trying things and trying things. Even the ones that work, we still try other things. So I just love it, because that's what it's all about. It's just about trying things. You're not trying to perfect anything. Yeah. You're not trying to be perfect. Actually, it's better when it's imperfect sometimes, and so
you find things.
You find something.
Right, you find something.
Chipping away at the marble, you find something in there that you can use, and then you apply it to the next thing.
Mm-hmm. And he just lets you do it, He just allows you to, and it's, again, there's no judgment there, so there's no wrong. There's nothing wrong about anything that we do. It's just maybe it works or maybe it doesn't work. And it's just been fun. And just watching these guys, watching him direct them, and even when I'm not in the scene, it's just been it's all work. You savor it all and you let it all marinate and you learn from everything. So it's just been inspirational and like a learning experience, and you grow hopefully as an actor, and then you celebrate with the performances.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And Anthony, how long has rehearsals been going on? How long have you how long has everyone been rehearsing?
We started the week before Christmas break, and then we just started up again a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so December 2nd was our first cast read through with this cast. And that's, because I've been involved since 2022, and like Anthony coming on board and working off of different people, I'm having new thoughts that like the story has been living in me, and it's been a great story. So I haven't forgotten it. It's been in the forefront of my mind for going on almost a year and a half now.
Yeah.
More than a year and a half, almost 2 years now, that it's amazing to have these new thoughts and new way of looking at things. And yeah, rehearsal's been the best part of my day for sure.
That's amazing. Real quick, could you just give your brief background in theater? So I find people work in theater fascinating, especially actors. But what's your background in theater?
So I started by just going on backstage one day, watching Avengers Endgame, watching Chris Pratt, and thought I could do that. Yeah. Crazy thought. And then looked up a bunch of YouTube videos of what to do, got backstage, and then that's where I found Anthony. Butterflies Are Free was my first time acting at all.
Yeah.
And it was I got bit by the bug in that rehearsal process. It's an 88-page play. I was on stage for 84 of it. I'm blind musician. I'm not blind. I'm not a musician.
Right, but you can act like a blind musician.
Yeah. So my son, who is a musician, was helping him through the process of learning the guitar and singing the songs.
Yeah, so that's really
the blind stuff you did yourself, and that was pretty amazing.
He's close his eyes.
Yeah. But so that was the first time I got to act on stage. And from that day forward, no matter what project I was on, if it wasn't going the way that I thought it should be going, I knew what it could be because of that experience with Anthony. So it kept me going through a slew of other community shows. So yeah, I've been doing community theater for a while, probably around 10 shows now, and doing short films and such.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. What's your background in theater?
Oh, God. I guess it started in high school, just doing like some plays and then auditioning and taking classes. And I, of course, went to university, not for acting because, just got to bring home something to mom and dad.
Right. I understand, believe me.
Yeah. But yeah, and then just, just auditioning a lot. And I started, after college, I started finding a really legitimate good school. I knew what I wanted to be or how I wanted to be, the capacity that you want to be good, but it's like, what's your idea of good? So I wanted to be around people who could really steer me in that direction. So I found the school that we go to and just, acting a lot, but also in that process, writing a lot and then making things, because I feel like if you're an actor, you gotta at some point, you can't wait around, and so I started doing my own projects and just having my hands in everything. And yeah, I think it's just kind of you learn a lot. You build confidence. You realize how much work there is to be done, but you also grow as a person, and you also realize, hey, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if Chris Pratt can do it, hell, I can do it.
Yeah.
Put me in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to name drop Chris Evans.
Whoa,
Pratt,
who's that?
Hemsworth, so Evans, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good trio right there.
Is the same question for me?
Yes. What's your background?
All right. My background, I started acting, it was 10 years ago, I think. And I was telling Anthony, I just started doing the same community theater productions. I went to go see something, and there was a guy there who was like, you should be on that stage. And I was like, no, I'm okay. And then the following day, someone called me and they were like, hey, your friend told me that you wanted to act. And I was like, who is my friend? And so I just called this guy back, and he was like, yeah, your friend Chris told me that you wanted to be an actor. And I was like, okay, all right. And so I auditioned for this guy, and he cast me in the show. And I've never acted in my life. And I didn't even really want to be an actor, honestly, right? And the thought of being in front of an audience scared me. So I'm on stage waiting for my scene. This is my first scene in front of an audience now. My heart's like in the second row. And I'm just like, I don't think I can do this, Frank, to the co-actor. He's like, you got this. And I was like, okay. The curtain opens. I had a small scene to like set us up, right? And I do the scene. I go back. He's like, how do you feel? I was like, I freaking love it. I was like, how do I keep doing it? He's like, just don't stop. And I was like, okay. And I haven't stopped. I mean, I take breaks, but I haven't stopped since, you know, and I try to do as much as possible, as much as of the new stuff as possible so we can create something from scratch. Because like Ben was saying, a lot of it feels like you're just redoing someone else's work. Yeah. So something like this is like, you take ownership of it, you know, you feel proud of the work that you're doing. So now I'm like just pursuing stuff like this with people like these guys, you know? So,
So with that in mind, what attracted you to the character of Teddy? You know, do you relate to Teddy or what?
In a strange way, yeah. I feel like Teddy. It's so weird. It felt so familiar, you know? Not like, it's not even the fact that he's from New Jersey and he lives where I live and he talks about, you know, they talk about the same stuff that I'm into, but there was just something about Teddy. I don't know what it is, but I felt connected like immediately. And like I said, I could see things that were not on the page. And when you can do that, it's like,
he's boisterous, and so are you.
Well, you haven't met the real me.
Now I'm scared.
but yeah, I mean, that's all it was. I mean, Teddy was just into all the things that I was into. He was around the kind of people that I'm around, and it was just reading it and trying to just connect with it in more like a personal way, as opposed to just like surface level stuff, you know, make it more personal, make his story personal and mean something as well. And so, you know, that's what we're all working on. But it's been great. I love Teddy, you know. Yeah.
Amazing. Same for you, Pratigya. You play Tiff. Do you relate to the character, or is there something that stood out?
Yeah, because in like reading a scene from it for the first time, just the way that the words flew so well and was so well written. So, you know, sometimes when you find a character some characters are easier than others because some characters are your straight behavior, right? Like Tiff, I didn't know if I was interpreting her correctly or not, but in my mind, when I read it, I felt like I understood the way she talked. I understood the way, like in between the dialogues, like I had an opinion about what was going on, like what her behavior would be, psychology would be. And it was just easy for me to justify her behavior, her actions, because I think a lot of it is I can find in my own life and my own self. And I don't know, she's kind of like a little bit, in my opinion, rough around the edges sometimes, and I'm a little rough around the edges, I've been told. And I like that, and I get that. You know, I get that like hardness, but also somebody who's very sensitive, and cares a lot, but is also like quick to jump at you. I understand it. So I think, I don't know why I sound angry right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're not angry. I'd say
channeling. She forgot where she was.
That's Tiff. That's Tiff, right? Why do I sound angry? I'm trying to say I love you. Why do I sound so angry?
I love you.
I say passionate, but okay, some people may interpret it as anger. So, Ryan, you play Seth. What attracted you to the character? Do you relate to the character?
I do relate to the character in the sense that we've all lost people, we've all been dealing with grief, and we all process it in different ways. And I think Seth processes it in a very unique way. It's very interesting to try and challenging to try to find the thought process of justifying the actions, because they are so peculiar and so strange, of celebrating Christmas until June. It's very it was just a lot to dig into.
Amazing. Well, congratulations, guys. Can't wait to see you guys starting February 2nd. Center Playhouse, 35 South Street, Freehold, New Jersey. Anthony, where can we get tickets online again?
Centerplayhouse.org.
Amazing. Yeah. And running for 3 weekends until February 18th. So come on and see. When are the showtimes again?
8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Come through.
Yes, come see us. Come see us.
Dance with me.